Hey guys, it's James Upjohn here from MagicSubmitterTutorials.com. Today I'm going to be talking to you about the Options tab. So the first thing that we need to do with Magic Submitter when we install it onto our machines is you're going to see a blank grey screen like this. What I'm going to do is talk to you about some of the things that you may need, like captures and proxies, in order to get the best out of Magic Submitter. I'm going to click on the icon over on the far right hand corner of the screen. It's the Options tab, and I'm going to click on that. And I'm going to talk to you about the General tab within the Options box. So, when we first load it up, you're going to see there's a browser window count and there's a socket spread count. They're set by default to Magic Submitter, and they're set for a machine that would be considered of sort of average performance. I highly recommend that when you first start using Magic Submitter, you just leave those top two sliders exactly as they are. And you'd only ever need to change those if you had let's say a super fast computer. You could turn the sliders up a little bit, or if you've got an older machine or you want to be using your machine at the same time that Magic Submitter's running, you can turn those sliders down a little bit so that it's not so resource intensive. But the settings as they are at the moment are going to be perfect for 99% of Magic Submitter users. The next options that we've got down here is the page load timeout settings. It's set in Magic Submitter to 30 seconds by default, and I recommend that you leave it at 30 seconds to start with. Basically what this means is when Magic Submitter tries to complete any task on any particular page, whether it's creating an account or it's trying to submit an item, Magic Submitter's got a whole 30 seconds to try and complete that task before it'll time out. Now, if you've got a slow computer or if you're using Magic Submitter and you're seeing lots of errors, I highly recommend that on that basis, you just come in and you change your page load timeout to 60 seconds. Like I said, leave it by 30 at default, but if you're seeing lots of errors, you can change it to 60. The next tab that we've got down here, or the next check mark we've got, is ping new links automatically. I've split test this on different servers. I've left pinging off on one server and I've turned it on other servers, and I have noticed my indexing rates are a lot higher naturally if I ping new links automatically. So I do recommend that you check that. I know some people say that you shouldn't ping new links, but I highly recommend it to give you a much better chance, or give Google a much better chance of actually finding the links that you've created. Basically what pinging does is it just sends out a ping request to different servers online of the different search engines, just to let them know that content has been created. Now, some of the biggest sites online do ping stuff automatically, and if it's good enough for them, it's definitely good enough for me too. And like I said, I am a strong advocate of it. I do recommend it. I think it's important. Next is stop on error. We want to leave that one unchecked, and restart Magic Submitter if low memory detected. We leave that one as it is. The next two options that we need to look at are run Magic Submitter at Windows Startup. I recommend that you do check that. The reason why I recommend that you run Magic Submitter at Windows Startup is if you ever have a power failure or you shut your computer down and you load your computer back up, you might forget to start Magic Submitter on its own. If you do forget to start it and you've got campaigns running, without Magic Submitter being loaded onto your machine and either minimized to the system tray or open on your screen like it is for me now, Magic Submitter won't build links. If you turn your computer off, it's not going to build links because it does need an active internet connection. So run Magic Submitter at Windows Startup. Then if you boot your computer and you forget to load Magic Submitter, it doesn't matter, it'll load on its own. So I'm going to check that box. And then finally at the bottom it says auto recovery Magic Submitter when it crashed. If you check this box, you're going to get a little MS recovery icon appear in your system tray. So I'm going to check this, and you're going to see now down in the bottom of my screen I've got a little pop-up that says MS recovery. In your system tray you're going to see a green circular arrow with a red tip on it. You want to click on that. It says MS recovery. When you click on it, you're going to see this MS recovery box pop up, and you'll see now that there are two instances of Magic Submitter. One of them's not running and one of them is running. They're loaded, but one's just not running. And basically what's going to happen here is if Magic Submitter crashes, The one that's not running will spring into life, and it'll automatically transfer whatever it was you're doing at that particular time onto the new instance. So I do recommend having that set up so that you don't lose stuff if you're halfway through doing something. All you need to do with that is just minimize it down to the system tray and forget it. It will just keep running in the background. So that's the general tab taken care of. The next tab that we need to look at is the captures tab. By default, Magic Submitter's got 3 different capture solving softwares that you can use. You can use bypass capture, which is the one at the top. You can use def by capture, or you can use image typers. If you go with the bypass capture, you're going to get sent an API key. It's a very long string of text and numbers. All you would do if you wanted to use bypass capture is just check that box and put it in the string in here. And then once you've done that, it's important to click check balance just to make sure that you have got the API key set up right, and just to make sure that Magic Submitter is able to connect to your account. If you've done it properly, you will get a box display that tells you what your balance is with that capture service. The same with def by capture and the same with image typers. Apart from they don't use API keys, they use a username and password. So you can put your username and password in, say MS Tutorials, let's just say a password MS is great. Click check balance. Just for the video, that's not my real username and password. Click check balance. It'll tell you what your balance is if it's successful. There is a piece of software, it's called Capture Sniper, and Capture Sniper does solve some popular capture types faster. You don't have to pay per capture with those. It is something that I have bought myself, and it is something that I do run in the background. It reduces my overall cost of captures by about 10 to 20%. At the moment, the recapture is not supported, and about 70 to 80% of stuff in Magic Submitter is recapture. So I do recommend using it if you're going to be using Magic Submitter a lot. If you're going to be doing lots and lots of campaigns and you've got lots of clients, then the saving of 10 to 20% for each campaign is going to pay for itself over and over again. If you're only going to just be doing 1 or 2 campaigns a month, then it's probably better just to use the standard captures solving that comes with Magic Submitter. Capture Sniper doesn't replace the need for one of these top ones. You use them together to get a discount. Now, if you click this link at the bottom, click here to sign up with special 20% discount for Magic Submitter users only. It does come with an instructional video of how to set up Capture Sniper. If you do buy it, once you've loaded it, you just need to check this box, use Capture Sniper. And what it will do is, any captures, it will send there first before it sends to the Capture Sniper software. If they can't solve it, then you pay for the capture to be solved through your normal capture solving. For anybody that doesn't know what captures are and why they're important, if you've ever tried manually signing up to a site before, you'll get a little image with a load of squiggly lines and text in it, and usually you have to fill that in manually. Now, if you go with a capture solving service, they take care of that for you. Now, it's really important if you're going to be submitting lots of links through Magic Submitter, because the last thing that anybody wants to do is to sit there and try and solve 1,000 of those manually. It's reasonably inexpensive, and it will definitely, there's no comparison to doing it manually. It's going to massively speed up the rate at which you can submit your links. So let's say you can choose any one of these, and that's how that's set up. The next tab that we want to look at is the Proxy tab in Magic Submitter. I'm going to skip the setup indexing because that is something I'm going to talk to you about in another video. But the next tab that we want is the Proxy tab. Now, if we look into Magic Submitter and the Proxy tab, we can either use proxies with Magic Submitter, or we can use a service called HMA. Some people refer to it as Hide My Ass or Hide My Arse, but it's HMA VPN. There's a link for it at the bottom here. You can click on that. That will take you to their website, and you can sign up for a pro VPN. I do recommend it using either proxies or HMA, and the reason that I recommend using it is there are some sites that have a limit on the number of accounts that you can create. Let's have a look at, say, one of the bookmarking service type sites. They will only allow so many user registrations per IP address. So if you're doing 5 or 10 campaigns and you're using the same IP address over and over again, you might start seeing some errors saying no more accounts are allowed to be created from this IP address. By using proxies, all a proxy is you're signing up through a different IP address, and you're going out and you're creating through a different IP address, which is great. It protects your own IP address of your own computer. It allows you to use other ones, and you shouldn't get any errors like user account registrations. Some people also think that Google can detect what IP address links have been built from, and as a result of that, it would make more sense if they can to make sure that your links are being sent out from a variety of IP addresses rather than just your one. So the difference between proxies and HMA is HMA is a software that you install on your machine. Once it's installed on your machine, you put your username and password into it and click connect, and that's all you need to do. You don't need to do anything with Magic Submitter at all. HMA will just run in the background and it will just start switching your IP address for you. In regards to proxies, proxies is something that you do actually need to put into Magic Submitter. If you decide to use proxies, all you need to do is click use proxy, rotate proxy on each run, and then you can go out to there's a few different services that you can use for proxies. I actually use a service called buyproxies.org or buyproxies.org. You can pick up semi-dedicated or dedicated proxies from them. 10 semi-dedicated proxies are $10 a month. 10 dedicated proxies are $20 a month. The difference between the semi-dedicated and the dedicated proxies is semi-dedicated proxies are owned by 3 different people and dedicated proxies are owned just by you. So if you want to make sure that nobody else is using the same IP addresses as you, and you can protect the IP addresses that are being used for sending out your links, dedicated proxies is definitely the way to go. A price point is what's more important. Semi-dedicated proxies or HMA is the way to go. If you decide to go for the proxies, what you need to do is you need to put them into Magic Submitter in a format as follows. The IP address would go in first, then there'll be a colon, then there'll be the port number, then there'll be another colon, then there'll be a username. We'll stick with the one that we used earlier, MS Tutorials, then the password would be MS is great. Okay, so when you sign up for an account, let's say with buyproxies.org, if you decide to use them, they will send you an email with your proxies. They'll just say, here's your proxies, and they will literally be sent to you in that format. Exactly like that, with the username and password attached on the end. So all you'll need to do is open up the email and copy and paste what they've sent you into here, one per line like that. Obviously the IP address would be different for each one, not all the same like I'm doing. That takes care of the proxy tab. By setting it up like that, if you use proxies, what Magic Submitter is going to do is the first posting it will use that IP address, the next one it will use that one, the next one it will use that one. One of the other reasons why I like using proxies is with a service like BuyProxies, they will actually send you an email every month with a new list of proxies. Let's say that you've decided to buy 10 or 20 proxies. All you need to do is once a month come in, delete what's in there and replace with the new ones. The next couple of tabs that you've got here is you've got the email tab. I recommend just leaving that exactly as it is. If you buy Magic Article Rewriter, it's a spin tool that integrates directly with Magic Submitter. If you do buy that, it gets integrated here. You don't actually need to do that yourself. If you don't own Magic Article Rewriter yet, you can go into the Magic Article Rewriter tab and just click here. Click here to purchase Magic Article Rewriter. And then finally, expert settings at the end. I recommend that you leave that as it is.